back to the Two Car Guys podcast. I'm John. This is Adam, and we're going to talk about Maserati.
Maserati.
And oh boy, have we got a lot to talk about.
Can we call it the mainstream Ferrari? Is that being disrespectful?
Can it be in the same class now? I don't know, man.
So
I feel like they've lost their edge so bad.
A little bit. All right. So before we get into it, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you are liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell down below.
Hit that bell, hit that button.
Yes.
Let us know what you like, what you don't like.
Tell me every week we're talking about cars. So if you like cars, this is the place to be.
We're here again.
Okay, so one of us on the channel has a Maserati now.
Yes.
What year's your Maserati?
It's 2014. So I've got a Maserati Quattroporte GTS.
And it's a good car.
It's a great car.
It looks good. It looks good. I mean, you can drive it anywhere, and it definitely looks classy and sophisticated.
Yep.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that dated on the inside for being a 2014.
Even on the outside, it doesn't look dated. I mean,
on the outside, it doesn't look dated
it's
at all.
aged extremely well.
Yeah.
Everything about the car is something I like, and we'll post a picture of it.
It probably needs some wheels and tires, but that's a subject for another day.
Well, it's got 21-inch wheels from the factory. I just put spacers on it and brought them out a little bit.
Oh, that's right. You did
Ran
put
a little bit
the
more
new,
aggressive tire.
Okay, so we're good there.
She's looking really good.
So we say all that to say that Maserati is a good car, and it's a great looking car. They've been known to have some issues, and I think that reliability is something that turned a lot of people away. But as a whole, Maserati, like their resale rates are dismal, tanked.
It is the worst. So my car had an MSRP of $170,000.
Okay.
I bought it for $25,000 or $24,000.
In what year?
So I bought it in 2019, and it's 2014.
So it was 5 years old.
5 years old. It was still in warranty. I had an extended warranty that went like bumper to bumper all the way through it and everything. And it's been an excellent car. You know how many times I've used the warranty? Once.
None. Oh, once?
Once. And
what was the once for?
It was a thermostat, and it was stuck open. And they fixed it. And I could have done it myself for less than the deductible. So there's that. But yeah, it was. But it's been an excellent car. Knock on wood, or microphone.
Right.
It's been a great car so far. And I've put 15,000 miles on it roughly. I don't drive it a lot. I
like it. I like the car.
Yeah.
You've threatened to get rid of it a few times on this channel.
Yes.
I like the car a lot. I will say, it's one of those brands on Stellantis's line card that is probably on the chopping block. And it was supposed to be a more mainstream luxury car, right? Yeah. Because not everybody could afford a Ferrari.
Correct.
And so you got into the Maseratis, and you got into a Quattroporte or a Gran Turismo or the
Ghibli or
the Ghibli.
And the SUVs are cool too, man. Like the Levante is actually a pretty good SUV. It just doesn't get great gas mileage.
I drove one once in Florida. I rented one through Turo. Yeah. And it wasn't my favorite, right? But I did enjoy it.
I think it's a great looking SUV, though. I mean, honestly, it's a really good looking car.
I did enjoy the look of it. I didn't enjoy how it drove, per se.
Right.
But I think they're in trouble. Maserati's in trouble.
They're in trouble. They are in trouble.
And the reason why they're in trouble, not just because I say so, but because for the first time ever, Ferrari outsold Maserati.
Yep.
That's insane,
dude.
And it's not easy to buy a new Ferrari.
Do we have the stats pulled up for the company? Because I think they sold it was like 11% of their what they thought they were going to sell. Yeah. I'm probably wrong on the stats because I don't have it up. But man, talk about missing the mark. I think.
Oh, it's bad.
I think what needs to happen. I think what needs to happen with Maserati to get back where they want to be is to have a company like Ferrari buy them, make that your lesser model. Don't bring out like a
that was
Dino, right?
They were that was
Maserati.
their lesser model.
That's the way it used to be.
But it was their lesser model, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that solves this problem. I don't think it solves this problem. I think that there's so much almost distrust in the marketplace behind it. I mean, think about it this way, right? When I was looking to replace the BMW X5,
Right.
we went and test drove a Audi RSQ8.
Okay.
The Audi dealership, shared a parking lot with Maserati and Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
And I went over and looked at a couple Maseratis, and they had a Maserati
MC20
Gran Turismo. No, they did
Gran
have an
Turismo.
MC20.
The new Gran
That
Turismo.
MC20 was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they had a Maserati. Was it the Grand Sport or whatever it was?
Yeah,
it's the higher class, right?
Yeah, so it's like their
Of the Gran
Lusso
Turismo.
or their, the Medina or something like
Yes.
that. They name it something
And
weird,
it
but
was
yeah.
like high twos for
Right.
that car, like mid to high twos. And I was like, there's no way, because I originally thought when I saw it that it was a used car because it was
Right.
on that side of the lot. And my initial reaction was, oh,
Right.
we can pick this thing up for like 40 grand, you know?
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was over $200,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, in 2 years, it's going to be 40 grand or 50 grand or whatever it is.
They've got a really bad rep for that specific problem. Their cars are, it's like they price them so far out of the market that, like, if you bought that car new, you know that you just lit at least half of your value on fire. At least half.
I can't figure it out unless you're doing it for some sort of tax purposes where you're betting against the loss. You're taking a loss on it.
They do really, really good leases. I think that's where that's where their market's
tons
at.
of money.
Yes, exactly. I think that's how they're doing it. But I'll say this, market-wise, I think they missed the mark on so many things. They missed the mark on putting the V6 in their supercars. They got away from the sound being what the car was known for, which is what it's always been known for. They really the SUVs, the naming of the SUVs, but
to be fair, nobody really knows. I mean, unless you're like a real car person, nobody knows what Levante means. And
if you look at the back of their smallest SUV right now, the Tonale, it looks like it says toenail. Do you want to drive around in a toenail?
No,
I mean, honestly though, there's that, and
it sounds Italian. It sounds refined, right? And so I will go on record with you and say that yes, the names are probably not the best, right?
Exactly.
But did you notice that they put the V6 engine in their MC20, right? And then the flagship car for Ferrari comes out with a V6.
Right. And they're following a trend that everybody took in like 2024 or 2023. And it's a horrible trend. And the people that didn't do that, obviously, things are better. Look at, McLaren, the all their what is it called? Hybrid cars.
Yeah.
They're just not doing great.
Well, they've only got the one hybrid right now. They've got the Artura, right?
And it's
the
not doing great.
It's not doing great. But the reason why it's not doing great is not because people don't like that car and are not willing to give the hybrid system a chance. It's because the reliability on that car out of the gate was atrocious.
Yes, exactly.
And people got turned off of it immediately because not only did people buying it complain about it, but then everybody who had a chance to talk about it complained about it.
Right.
And so if you were in that tax bracket and you were going to buy one of those, it was immediately off of your list.
Right, but the MC20 is priced right there with the Artura. And
the MC20s, I mean,
it's probably more, honestly.
It is more, especially if you get into the cabriolet version. But
and both of those cars are worth $150 in the used market right now. Like the $150 or around that mark. The Artura, same thing. Same thing. It's dropping like a rock. They're just not doing well.
Well, but I mean, I think that the MC20 was a really cool idea, right? You had the right doors, you had the right shape, it was a cool car.
It's a beautiful car. Yeah.
They just couldn't put it all together.
Yeah.
And
I haven't driven one. So everybody that's driven one says it drives great. Says it's absolutely an amazing feeling. It's like driving
I only know one person who has one, and I'd like to review it honestly. I only know one person who has one, and he says that, and which is contradictory to what I would have thought.
Right.
But he says that the car is very twitchy, so it's really good up in the mountains, but it's terrible around town.
And I'm sure it is. Yeah.
And well, it's weird because that car's so big. It's so much bigger than my McLaren. It's so much bigger than like
it's
the
got a
Porsche we drove.
Going down the road.
Does.
They look great. I wish they'd just put a freaking V8 in it. Put the 4-liter that everybody else has. Slap that in there. Change the sound a little bit. Call it a Maserati, whatever. And
I mean, we're saying that about a lot of cars that have gone that direction.
Yes.
And what's really funny is one of the first cars to do that, or one of the first vehicles to do that I was really burned about was the Raptor, right?
Yeah.
When the Raptor put a V6 in there, I was like, why?
Yeah.
You had this engine in this car, and they did it for a multitude of reasons. Not to mention the fact that they were pulling massive torque out of this car. But what's interesting is the same time they started releasing a V8,
right?
Ram turned around and was like, "Oh, we're going to get rid of the V8 and we're going to do a 6."
And guess what? They're bringing it back now.
I hope so.
They are.
Everybody
They've already
back.
teased it. They've already said it. Rams bringing back the V8, and rightfully so. That's their best seller.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be.
Well, I mean, Toyota got rid of the V8, right?
Yeah.
And they went to the 6s, and you saw all the crap that we reported on that last year with all the stuff that was happening where those engines were basically imploding. So we're getting a little bit off topic, but I mean, essentially what we're saying here is
they're in trouble.
There's so many issues with Maserati from a whole because they've changed the personality, if you will, of the brand, right? Yeah. They've gotten away from these exotic sounding engines and these really cool, exotic and luxury cars.
Yep.
And they've tried to go down more like of the consumer car brand.
Right.
And either their market didn't want that.
Yeah.
Or so many people in the market are looking at Maserati and saying, for that kind of money, I'd get XYZ.
But I mean, there's so many better options. I mean, at the $100,000 mark where you would buy their basic car.
Yeah.
I mean, would you buy a Ghibli or would you buy a M2 comp? You know what I mean? M4 comp.
I would buy, if you're talking 4-door cars, I'd buy an M3 comp all day.
M3 comp all day. M2 comp all day.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
If you're talking SUVs like the Levante, for that kind of money, I'd much rather have an X5M comp.
Right, 100%.
You're talking 700 plus horsepower,
4-liter.
It's
a
remote
monster.
start. It's a much nicer daily livable car.
Exactly.
And you can drive the wheels off that sucker, and it doesn't depreciate anywhere near what a Maserati is going to depreciate
That's the
at.
big part.
Yeah.
And I think if you're doing it for leasing, maybe you lease the Maserati, but you're only getting it because your buddy's already got the M3 or whatever, and you're trying to, get something different.
Then get an Audi.
But buy it used. Just buy it used
for $100,000. I mean, I don't know how many people on this, that listen to our podcast are obsessed with the. Was it the Avant, right?
Yeah.
The RS6 Avant.
Oh, the RS6 Avant is sick.
I am so obsessed with that car.
Yes.
And I've been watching all kinds of tuning videos where they're getting 900 horsepower out of it.
Easily.
I would much rather have that at that price point.
I'm telling you, man.
And the thing is, you don't see a ton of them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But, the other part, too, with Maserati, though, their service department, I think, lets them down a lot. And don't take that wrong way, guys that are in the service industry for that car. Every time we've went to use it, it's not been a great experience. And the dealer model isn't great. Like, you take your car and they're like, hey, we'll give you pennies on the dollar for your trade. And, they should be the ones holding that value higher than others.
But they're not.
And they're not. Exactly.
They're quick to depreciate that car, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I think the whole model of Stellantis running that, was a bad option. Ever since Margione, I think is how you say his name, died, Alfa and Maserati both as a whole have just been nosediving ever since.
So
and
the
he was
interesting
the one
thing
that ran
about
that brand.
Alfa is Alfa's sneaky cool because you've got the Quattrofolio line, and you can get it in the SUV.
Right.
You can get it in the 4-door car.
Right.
They got rid of their 2-door, which I still think is if you haven't driven one before, the Alfa Romeo 4C is it's like a go-kart for adults.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they say the MC20 is based on that.
I
that
mean,
whole
it's just like a giant version of it.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, they've only got like 3 cars total, right?
Right.
They've got the sedan, and they have 2 SUVs, a large version and a small version.
Yeah.
And dealer network is few and far between.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I went to a Alfa Romeo dealership, they were on a stop sale for everything, so they couldn't sell any cars, which I was like, this is crazy.
This is wild.
I mean, what are you guys doing, you know, for income during this time?
Exactly.
But it was just, man, it was one of those things where those cars are cool, but nobody buys them because they're hard to come by, right? I almost think that it would be better to collapse Maserati, and basically fold versions of those cars into Alfa.
Yeah.
Because
make the MC20 a Alfa Romeo Quattrofolio, whatever,
and throw a V8 in it,
and throw the V8 in it. Yeah, absolutely. But the second they put a V8 in that car, I guarantee you that one holds value and does well.
I don't agree with that.
If
I've
it's a
never
good
seen a
V8.
Maserati that holds value.
I mean,
I'm not trying to be mean. I've just never seen one that holds value.
The one that
I
was
really
based
haven't.
on the 430 or the F50. That car holds value very well.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but that car is probably still $1 million, and they made how many of them?
Yeah, that
you know,
we're not getting into the specifics. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
But at the same time, man, like if you buy a heavily depreciated version of it, you're getting a pretty dang good car. And
that's the truth,
that's the
right?
hard part, you know.
But that's the truth. If you can find a heavily depreciated version of pretty much any Maserati that's out there, you can have a really nice car and a really good experience. I mean, if you got a Gran Turismo, especially like an MC version of the Gran Turismo,
MC's sick. Oh, I want one.
If you could find a Gran Turismo MC
sub 50 grand,
easily sub 50 grand, you know, that has been well taken care of. That's an amazing car. It's going to sound great. It's going to drive great. It's not going to age externally, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to be really happy with that car, and you're going to have a car that's going to be about the same price you're going to buy a Corvette or a
and you'll
Mustang
be more exclusive.
or
everything
or a Camaro, right? You're going to have that same price bracket, and you're getting essentially an Italian muscle car, which is great.
And it sounds good, looks good. It does all the things.
But I think people are afraid of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know, you have the luxury of having the area, the space to work on your cars.
Right.
You also have the luxury of having the ability to do so. I have the ability. I don't have the place. Right. So
I got it,
it's not as easy. It's easy for you and I, right, to do some of these small
Take
repairs.
that risk, go into it,
exactly,
and be able to handle it.
For the person who's buying the car because they think it's cool and they love the car and they love the sound and the brand and all that, it's not as easy because what you said earlier, there's the dealer network just isn't there for these cars.
Right. Exactly.
And
the older they get,
of the replacement costs.
And the older they get, the more things are breaking, the more expensive the parts are, and they're not cheap to own.
No,
I would not say that the car's cheap to own. The filter is $100 from Maserati. I mean, but that's part of ownership. I think in general is don't expect a $25,000 Maserati to be cheap, right?
Correct, but don't forget that there's also the ability to look at that part number, and there probably is a part number that'll fit that filter that's probably half the
every
cost.
car but the V8. That V8 was specific to that car. It was it's actually a Ferrari part number, which makes it that expensive. That's the part that sucks.
Of course it was,
because it's Ferrari parts stuffed into a Stellantis product, right? So But
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the future for Maserati is very shaky right now.
And it's questionable. Yeah.
And we've seen a couple reports that they're looking at the line card from Stellantis and trying to figure out where they're headed. They've been hinting at maybe looking at Maserati and collapsing the brand. I don't think that the brand has the same pull or gravitas that some of these other brands have.
Correct. Yeah.
So here's the real question, right? Should Maserati take a gap year like Jaguar?
Yeah.
Right. take a gap year like Jag and come back with something totally different.
I think they should. Honestly, I think that'd be a good thing. It also my question though would be like, all right, they don't sell a lot of the MC20s, like really truly.
They don't sell a
because
lot of
nobody's
any of their
buying them.
line.
So
Yeah.
they're not selling a lot of them. That makes that car more and more rare. And my thoughts are, if you can get into one right before they collapse and own it for a few years, the market's going to probably turn around on that car and actually be a good investment.
Maybe, but I mean, everybody thought about now. So there is a little bit of a comparison here because they made a lot more of these, but everybody thought that was going to be the way with the i8.
Yeah.
And then the i8 collapsed, and now you can get one for 60 grand. You can get a Spider for 70 grand.
But we're talking about different technology,
not by much, honestly, not by much, because that MC20, I've heard a couple people say it, and that's why I thought of it off the top of my head. Is it feels like a bigger i8,
right?
Same kind of doors, same kind of feel on the interior.
I get you.
It's just I don't think that car is going to be one of those ones that's going to be a future classic that's going to pop up.
Well, I can tell you that car's sub $100,000. I want one.
I know you do. You told me if it's like 150, you might grab one, but it's going to be i8 money here soon.
Yeah, it gets into the 60s. I am 100% going to have one in my garage.
Dude, if it gets into the 60s, we'll both have one, and we'll do like a cross country trip in it.
Let's go. Yes, absolutely.
It might not make it, but it'd be worth the trip.
and we'd have no dealer support because they're gone.
None. No dealer support. Right. Not to mention the fact that no dealer would support us after this video.
Right. So, by the way, Maserati, I am a fan of your brand. So if you do have anything you'd like us to review on the channel, we'd love to do that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that there's not the same fan base that there is for a lot of these other brands.
Well, it became a flex car, and I think any flex thing, like look at the Escalades and the stuff like that. Car. It's like it's a flex car. That's what Maserati became.
You know who was a flex car for a long time? Bentley.
Yeah, and now Bentley
was a flex car.
We tuned a Bentley today, yesterday, and let me just tell you, that car is nice on the inside.
That car is nice on the outside.
Yeah, I would come a long way.
I would take a Bentley Continental GT.
Yeah,
in a
get the 4-liter V8 so we can tune it.
Oh yes, in a heartbeat, I'd take that car.
Heartbeat, dude. Same 4-liter that is in the X5M and everything. Same 4-liter. It's amazing.
Yep. So I mean, we've the message here, the basis of this whole episode is. I believe that Maserati is still a great brand. It's still a really cool car. If you can find a used one on the marketplace, you're getting an awesome car, and you're getting it at a great buy.
Yep.
The challenge is, in order to find one on the used marketplace, they have to sell a new one at some point.
Yep.
And if you haven't sold a new car, I mean, this is not news. If you haven't sold a new car in 2 or 3 years, there's not going to be a whole lot of them on the marketplace.
Exactly.
I just don't know what they're doing over there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing at Maserati. I think that they got kind of too big for their britches and started pricing things way more expensive than it needed to be. I think the Levante, if you're going to make that a luxury SUV, you price it along with the X5Ms of the world and that sort of thing.
Yeah, $100,000.
You don't price it at the $200,000 range.
That's the hard part with Maserati is their sticker price is sticker shock. For most people that would be comparing it to any other thing, the other car is going to be a little better option for you.
Much better option.
I mean,
like I said before, you look at an X5 and the things you can do on the app, the ability to remote start the car, the 360 cameras and all the stuff that car does makes that car so much more livable on a day-to-day basis, much more so than the Maserati. The Maserati is actually difficult to live with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just don't see good news for Ferrari and Maserati if they keep this trend, because Ferrari looked at Maserati as almost being like a feeder brand where people got into it, and then they kind of, because if you look, most of those Maserati dealerships are paired up with Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so you're in there with your $200,000 car, and you're in getting it serviced, and you start to look around, and you maybe look at an F8. Or you maybe look at a 488.
And you kind of find out, oh, maybe I can go into that route instead of this
right.
route.
Maybe that's the next step.
Yeah.
And I think that it's gonna, if Maserati goes away, I think it's gonna be bad for Ferrari.
Yep.
I think if Maserati doesn't go away, I don't know what their future is. I really don't.
I think that, like you said, they need a year off. They need to figure it out and then come back. I think they need to
I'm not trying to be rude. I don't know that they're not taking a year off right now. When was the last time you went to a dealership and you were like, oh, look, a brand new Maserati?
So I usually go to the dealership in Birmingham all the time. They closed it. It's now a Subaru dealership.
A what?
A Subaru dealership.
Okay. Well, at least it's not a Mitsubishi dealership, which you and I drove by like 3 of those on our last trip. And I was like, they still make these cars?
We watched that video about the who makes the most amount of money and stuff, and Mitsubishi's up there. Like, that was interesting. Yeah, as a company, they make really good money.
What? Oh, they've got to make. They've got to make other things.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We're not talking about cars, period, because cars. I haven't seen one in a long time. But although I will say, I don't know why recently I started looking at the Lancer Evo 10?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the 10's cool, man.
And I was like, man, maybe I could find a clean 10, like a 2015 final edition clean 10. And because I've been looking for a manual car, maybe that'd be my manual car.
Well, you never know, man. But I would say if Maserati does make it through this and bring back the V8, bring back the cool sounds, bring back that the interiors are nice in their new cars, and I think that it's possible they can get through this, but they're going to have a lot of work on their hands.
I think they need to find their identity again.
Yep.
And I think they lost their identity. And I think because they lost their identity, they basically blurred the lines a little bit. And the people that are on the brink of maybe looking for a luxury SUV or looking elsewhere, the people who are looking on the brink of, their sports cars like the Gran Turismo, they're like, man, for that dollar, I can get other cars. Right. And the other cars are going to be cooler or whatever.
Right.
So,
and a perfect, another thing too is, if they'll just, bring back the good sounds, dude, like, come on,
it's so funny because sound is very important to me.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy, the truck's got 4 different sounds. It's got quiet, normal, sport, and Baja.
Yeah.
And I try to change it all the time because I really enjoy the sound of that truck. And for those of you who made it this far into the video, there is a exhaust installation video coming for that Raptor here soon.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned.
Very cool.
But I think that I mentioned it before, the identity for Maserati has always been the sound.
Yep.
It was a less expensive Ferrari. You were basically getting a Ferrari with a more, that you could daily, and you can't do that anymore. Now I think the price has become so much. They've priced their fan base out of the market.
Yeah.
The depreciation on them is so aggressive.
Yeah.
It has to be one of the most aggressive depreciations of any vehicle that's out there.
Absolutely.
And on that bombshell, I think that's where we need to leave it. So here's the deal. Let's stay tuned. Let's see what happens with Maserati. Yep. And in the meantime, if you've made it this far into the video, make sure you've liked and subscribed this video. Make sure that you've hit the bell so you can be notified when we drop new videos. We drop shorts every day. We drop long forms at least once a week.
Yep.
And if there's anything you'd like to see us do to the cars or whatever, let us know. We did have some requests recently to do basically a review of all of our cars. So we're going to do that here soon too.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in. You can see that happen.
Hit that button. We'll see you next time. Peace.
See you guys.